All right, you are live.
All right, thank you. We are calling to order the March 7th meeting of the Sustainable BC Committee. I am Andy Helmboldt, community volunteer and chair of the group. If we could just go around the room, I will just call names from across my grid here, and if you could just say your name and your position and where you are zooming in from today, that would be lovely. All right, Kristen.
Kristen Blood, calling in remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Thank you. Bessie.
Bessie Steers, with the City of Battle Creek, the Environmental Program Coordinator, calling in from Burlington, Michigan.
All right, Kathy.
Kathy Antea, community volunteer on this committee, calling in from Battle Creek, Michigan.
All right, Joshua.
Etheridge, community volunteer, calling in from Battle Creek, Michigan.
All right, Jill.
Jill Anderson, community volunteer, calling in remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
All right, Patty.
Patty Hill Meluish, City of Battle Creek Environmental and Storm Service Manager, calling in from Battle Creek.
Bob.
Bob Gilbert. I'm a community volunteer as well, and I'm calling in from Dowling, Michigan.
All right, Sarah.
Sarah Kelly, Calhoun County Solid Waste Recycling Coordinator. I'm in the County Building and Marshall.
All right, Kaylin.
My name is Kaylin Boudreau. I'm a W intern, and I'm calling in from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Kurt.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Kurt Tribbett, engineer administrator for the City of Battle Creek, calling from Scotts, Michigan.
All right, Travis.
Travis Sullivan. I'm a planner for the City of Battle Creek, and I'm calling in from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Welcome, Travis. And so Travis is our guest today, and we'll make sure we'll move you up to the front of the agenda here after we do the minutes, Travis, so that if you need to move on to other things and not stay for the whole meeting, that's fine. Who do we have that's on the phone at 962-2291? Does anyone know who that is? I think I recognize it. Is that the mayor? Sometimes the mayor joins by phone, but I don't recognize the number.
I think it's a city number. So
is it? Okay. Well, if you are the person at that number that ends in 2291, and no, whoever that was got tired of me bothering them and left. All right, Lisa with the clerk's office did send the minutes from the February meeting, so we've had a chance to look those over. Is there any questions or comments? I would ask.
I make a motion to approve the January 2022 minutes.
All right, moved by Kristen Blood, seconded by Kathy Antea to approve the February minutes. Any other discussion or comment or question about those minutes? All right, then all those in favor of accepting the minutes, please say aye or wave affirmatively at the camera now. I'm seeing a overwhelming majority, so the ayes have it, minutes approved. And okay, like I said, the rest of our agenda is pretty much our usual updates and whatnot. Plus we have Travis Sullivan here from planning. which is a connection that we like to make for a while. We had Eric Felt from planning while he was with the city as kind of our planning liaison connection person who had helped write the plan a few years ago. So it'll be good to hear and connect with someone from planning. So we will go ahead and do that right now. And Travis, this is a fairly, informal thing. So if you have stuff, if you've talked with Patty, if you have prepared stuff to share with us, or whatever you have, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours. And then we can just ask questions and have a conversation as we go.
Mr. Chairperson?
Yes.
It looks like our phone caller has come back.
Yeah, word on the street is that we suspect that is Mayor Benke, and I think this number, I think I recognize. Mark, is that you on the phone?
It's me, but I think they have me as a citizen. That's why I wasn't able to talk.
Oh, okay. All right, then you're okay now. So yeah, so just for the record for folks,
okay. This is Mark Benke, City Commissioner, and I'm calling in from downtown Battle Creek.
All right, thank you much. All right, Travis, thank you.
So in terms of updates, I don't know how much I really have to give today, but just to kind of give all of you sort of an idea of where the planning department is right now. We have a new planning and zoning administrator. That's Susan Cronander. She's been in that position now for, I want to say, about 6 months. I joined the city, it was about 4 months ago. And so again, the two of us are kind of getting our feet under us right now. We're quite busy in January and February with a number of site plan reviews and special use permits. So just sort of kind of everyday planning and zoning type things. As it relates to what this committee probably is more interested in, I am somewhat aware of the fact that I believe the non-motorized transportation network master plan is probably due to be updated. It looked to me like when I went over the current plan, it looked like it was adopted in 2006. Looks like in summer of 2019, there was a survey that was sent out. I don't see a lot that was done after that. And my guess is COVID probably kind of shut a lot of that down at that point. But I do know, just in having talked with Susan, that I think looking at the non-motorized transportation plan is kind of on our radar as one of the items that obviously both of us need to familiarize ourselves with, and then look at what sorts of updates need to be done to it. So.
I was on when I was on the commission a few years ago. I was also on the bike committee, which is technically the non-motorized transportation committee. And I want to say that there was an update to that plan. I don't know that it was a major overhaul by any means, but I thought that there was an update done to that plan in the mid-teens at some point. I want to say like that. I don't think 2006 was the last update to that plan. And then I guess it does make sense. I think that maybe they were looking at getting input or something again in 2019. And yeah, at that point, everything kind of out the window. But I don't think 2006 would have been my guess. And again, I'm just going by memory. But I know we were dealing with the plan at the time. And my guess is 2006 is not the latest version of that plan. I don't know how to find I don't know how to find the answer. It seemed like if memory also serves, it was more the DPW folks who were heavily involved with that as much as the planning folks. Carl might know, but anyway, I'm babbling about history.
Yeah, and so I'll take a look, see what I can gather on it, and just make sure that we've got the most updated version of everything. And then figure out if anything was done with that information that was gathered in 2019. And then if it wasn't, which I'm somewhat suspecting and likely it wasn't, just because again, that spread before COVID hit, it kind of scuttled everything. That might kind of be a starting point for us then to start getting to work. So
Kathy, question?
Travis, I just want to suggest, I thought Randall Champlain, maybe I'm not pronouncing his name right, but Champlain, Talia's husband, I thought he was really involved in that non-motorized thing because of his interest in bicycles. He may be a source of information. Andy, not that I don't think your memory is weak, but his memory might be more spot on in regards to the non-motorized transportation. So that might be helpful. Randall Champlain.
Okay.
Yeah, their name is Champlain.
Thank you, Andy. Shame on.
Yeah, he might still be on that committee. He was on it for a while. Dave Walters is the chair of that committee. I know. Oh, yeah. So is there any, I guess, is there anything else, Travis, off the top of your head with regard, when it comes to planning and site reviews and whatnot, where we have any particular environmental concerns or sort of specific issues at play?
I can't think of anything that we've dealt with recently or anything really since I've been here that would be out of the ordinary. Obviously we work with Public Works whenever we review a site plan, and a special use, which has a site plan with it as well, to make sure drainage and those sorts of things are in order. But in terms of anything specifically, like I said, that would be sort of out of the ordinary from an environmental standpoint. I can't think of anything right now that comes to mind that we've dealt with here in the last couple of months. So.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
Travis, I don't know if this would fall within your realm, but one of the things that I've always struggled with is we have a fabulous recycling program in the city of Battle Creek, but people in multiple housing units, apartment buildings, I don't believe have access to that. And I know that's, curbside and blah, 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 but is there anything that the planning committee might be able to do, or the planning and zoning might be able to do in regards to helping apartment dwellers get access to recycling services?
Yeah, so I'm not terribly familiar with the city's refuse and recycling contracts, but I can take a look at it though and see what's in there. And then I'm not certain exactly what the planning commission's how much of a role they would have in that. I would say that certainly I think they can make a recommendation to the city commission if they felt like there's something that needs to be looked at in there. So that's certainly something, like I said, I can grab the contract and take a look through it and then see if that's anything that we can bring to them to have the planning commission review and then determine if there's a recommendation that they might like to make to the city commission. So.
Thank you. I'm not trying to put the squeeze on anybody in this room right now. I just thought, hey, what the heck? Let's ask planning and zoning. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Sometimes there's stuff, particularly when you're, if there's a site, sometimes our zoning rules, the planning and zoning rules can be an effective way of encouraging folks to use their space in ways that we might not have other types of rules or methods of encouragement for, shall we say. Other questions or comments or wonderings or whatnot for Travis? Kathy, yeah, you can carry the load, carry that weight.
I guess it's not embarrassing anymore that I'm always the one asking the questions. It is what it is. And this may not necessarily, Travis, have I'm not sure how this overlap might be with the Sustainable Battle Creek Committee, but in terms of a large project like what New Level Sports is proposing for a section of Battle Creek, how does the zoning department become involved in that? Are you familiar with the Children's Village that New Level Sports is proposing?
I'm not, where are they proposing it at?
So this may be way too deep in the weeds for us to talk about, Andy. Please shut me up if necessary. Travis, they're around Michigan and Kendall Street, Michigan Avenue and Kendall. There's a large idea for development, multiple different kinds of building usages, like a miniature village within the city that's being proposed with quite significant changes to what's going on there. And I just wondered, does the city get involved? Does the planning and zoning get involved in a larger, or are you, or is it something that happens one building at a time? Maybe that's a.
Yeah, so I'm not, like I said, right now I'm not familiar with that. So that it may have been something that's being discussed. But typically when somebody proposes a larger development like that, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll approach staff first on it, just to, if nothing else, just to run some ideas past folks, and kind of get the discussion started that way to see what their property can allow for them to do, and then what ways that we can work within the zoning ordinance to make it happen. Like I said, I guess the first portion of that would be usually staff is going to work with an applicant prior to them submitting any sort of an application, to kind of work it into shape so that it's, again, so it complies with everything that it's going to need to meet in order to be approved. After that, they'll then submit, make a formal submission. So if it requires a special use permit, it'll have to go to the planning commission, then the city commission. And so that'll come first to staff. Staff will prepare a report for the planning commission on it. And then if it gets recommended for approval at the planning commission level, then that will make its way then to the city commission. If it's an item that doesn't require special use approval, but just a site plan review, then staff will handle the site plan review process administratively. And so that's basically just comparing the plans that have been submitted to all the standards in the zoning ordinance, and then working with Public Works to make sure that it meets all their standards as well, and then working back and forth with the applicant to rectify anything that needs to be worked on. So that's in terms of larger plans like that. Sometimes it might be the sort of plan where we might work with them on what's called a planned unit development, which allows for some additional flexibility with zoning. And especially when you're looking at properties that are large enough, or developments that are proposing multiple buildings, and multiple uses on them. So that's where planning zoning's involvement with that would be. So yeah, I would say we're once somebody brings something to us like that, we're pretty involved with it, pretty much every step of the way. So.
Thank you. Good question. Other questions about planning? Yeah. Go ahead, Gavin.
Honest, Travis, I'm not picking on you. I'm just taking an opportunity to ask you these questions. So my question has to do with planning and zoning along Jackson Street, on the north side of the river, on the north side of Jackson. I struggle mightily because Bessie's doing such a fabulous job of making that whole green band along there really beneficial from a runoff standpoint and a native species standpoint. And yet on the north side of Jackson Street, we got some marginal looking property. What kind of zoning stuff is going on in that property, and how come we can't develop that as a gorgeous riverside property?
So I need to take a look at the zoning map just to see exactly like what those properties there might be zoned, because that would determine a lot of it, a lot of what they can be used for. I know that there are a number of what are called green zones that are in place along that stretch, and my the impression that I've gotten since I've been here is that the intent of those green zoning districts were to be placed in areas that might be a little bit more prone to flooding, and so are a little bit maybe less desirable for certain sorts of developments, but still valuable, especially in where they're located with relation to the river. And so I believe that's kind of why those districts were set up. But again, I'd have to look at to see which properties there are zoned which way, because that would determine a lot of, or most of what they can or cannot be used for. I do know that I mean, it is a priority, I believe, right now, the city commission to work on the riverfront. But again, like I said, without looking at the zoning map, I guess I can't say too much. I'd have to just take a look at it and see.
I understand what you mean about the flooding zone, certainly between Bedford Road and 20th Street. That definitely is a wet area. But I'm thinking specifically of an area between 20th and I think Angle, where there's a lot of concrete backfill that was raising up property elevations for Michigan Avenue. And I go by there all the time and see all the concrete and just think about what kind of cool space that could be, or what kind of development that might be, and how Battle Creek would benefit from tax revenue development along the river.
Kathy,
Yes.
I think that area is actually the city of Springfield.
Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate that very much.
You bet.
Guess you're off the hook, Travis.
Yeah, once you get past Angel Street, it's it's Springfield.
It would be
And
a
then-
nice area to clean up, though. I agree.
Well,
with
it gets funky there, because then once you go, well, anyway, yeah. If it check it, looking at, the zoning map is probably fairly easy to find on the website, Kathy. If you've ever spent any time looking at and then we just had a new master plan, a couple years ago, or maybe just prior to the pandemic, did we pass a new master plan, or at the beginning, or something?
Yeah, so the zoning ordinance was redone in November of 2020. November 2020. The master plan was adopted in 2018, so that's going to be due coming up here to be updated as well. So.
But yeah, Kathy, if you're interested in that kind of thing, a good place to start is just checking out the map. And zoning maps are fairly easy to understand. They're usually color coded, and there's a key, and you can see what kinds of residential versus commercial versus industrial and office. There's various things, and we've got more mixed use spaces than we used to, and whatnot.
So I actually have that map up in front of me, and I am very happy, Kathy, that you brought that up, because my husband and I were just driving down Jackson, and it is between 20th and Angle. For some reason, I always want to call it Angel. And it is, so I have the zoning map. I'm just trying to look at the colors. In R3A area. And it is actually city. There is a very small portion of it that is, I believe, Springfield, but the good portion of it is city. And then as you pass Unit, it becomes a commercial area. But it's residential, R3 residential, where you're talking about where those, it's not just the concrete that's built up over there, it's trash. There's a lot of trash and concrete chunks. And yeah, it'd be nice to see what's planned for that area.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's valuable to look at when you're looking at what sort of the intent for a specific area is also looking within the master plan at the land use plan map, because that's essentially what guides sort of development during the life of the master plan. So that's a really valuable resource as well.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. And any other questions planning wise? Okay, well, thank you, Travis. We'll move on to our regular updates and whatnot. You're welcome, obviously, you're welcome to stick around for as much as you'd like, but if you do have other stuff to get to, feel free. But thank you very much. It's nice to have a name and a face, we haven't in a while had a connection with planning. So if questions, come up during the year, during our meetings, we will know who to direct them to afterwards.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Alrighty, our normal update. So turn to our City of BC folks first. However you all want to do it. Patty, Bessie, Kurt, whatever you want.
I can go. Oh, go. You want me
Go
to
ahead,
rattle off
Bessie.
first?
Yeah,
Okay.
go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we have some events coming up. First item is March 19th, our styrofoam collection event from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Saturday at the Department of Public Works for Battle Creek residents only. Next one is the following week on the 23rd. It's a Wednesday. It's our scrap tire collection. It runs from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Again, Battle Creek residents only. We try to limit 10 tires per person. The rain barrel sale is ongoing. Also, you can get composters and other accessories. The deadline is March 30th for that. So get your orders in. Pickup will be April 5th at DPW between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Also, April 18th through 24th is Earth Week, Earth Day, and sign up is you can sign up now on our bcwater.org. And if you're interested in a specific area, just email me and let me know. Update on the Children's Water Festival. I just received another registration, so we are up 435 students, and I anticipate probably some more. I've been really pushing towards 500 this year, which is exciting. We're going to do the same thing, supply totes, and maybe in the future we can do the big event again, but this year we're going to do tote activities. And lastly, we are signed up. Oh, yep, go ahead.
What was the date for the Children's Water Festival, please? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, so we are aiming for the month of May. So I give the teachers plenty of leeway because they are incorporating it in with their classroom lessons and things like that. So it's at their leisure, which is nice. But yep, those totes will probably be delivered the week before the 1st of May. So yep. We are signed up for the 11th annual Wayland National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation. That runs from April 1st to 30th. So our job is to get our Battle Creek residents out there to take the pledge. The more pledges we get, just the better it looks for the city and really helps push conservation. So water conservation. So we'll be pushing out the posters for that and try to get that over social media and all those avenues. And I think that's like, you can take the pledge at mywaterpledge.com for that challenge. So I think that about wraps it up.
Thanks, Bessie. Oh, Kurt, I was trying to link the zoning map too. Kurt and I both put links to the map, but go ahead, Patty.
We just applied for a grant through MyCore for basically 2 flat bottom boats and a trailer to help with in-river cleanup. So we'll see how that goes. That submitted, the due date was today. We got it in Friday. So we'll know fairly soon if we got that, but that will allow us to get in the river and get stuff out. So Jill knows firsthand that that's needed from last summer. So
I was gonna say that sounds like Jill's dream come true. One of Jill's dreams. I'm sure she has multiple dreams.
Patty, do we have a date for when we're going to be doing that cleanup?
Well, it would depend on if we get the boats. We were kind of targeting second week in July, maybe, when it's nice and warm, so we can get in the water. But that's pretty flexible. So I'll be in contact with you and let you know if we get the grant and how those dates look. I think we were thinking July 14th or 15th, something like that. So
okay, great.
Yep.
Kurt, anything from your end?
A couple things. Yeah, for facility side, we're getting things out to bid, and of course we're always looking for rebates and things like that. So we have some projects there that will be tied to some rebates, but nothing big, nothing like the secondary we had a few years ago. But we are moving things. The other big things are our tree forester. We and Kathy can fill in what I don't complete here, but we did meet as a committee, and we selected a forester, which I think we're all pretty excited about. And pending his references, we'll be selecting this fella, and I can't think of his name right now. National Capital. Yeah, there's more to come. I mean, we'll have more information. Looking forward to meeting them and seeing how we can get a plan going from once we meet with them. Kathy, you had anything you want to add to that? Or?
Sure, Kurt. Yeah, Capital National or National Capital Forestry Service or something like that. The name is pretty complicated, but folks, you would be really pleased with the things that this bid or contract suggestion had written down. I mean, they touched on all the sustainability issues, because I know that the city really has a slightly different idea of what this forest manager position could be as opposed to what I was thinking. And good for the city. I'm not demeaning that at all. And I just want to tell you that this person really is thinking about trees like this committee thinks about trees, right? Not just the value in the timber and how we might manage them economically, but they really did a good job of buttering us up with the whole sustainability idea. And I say buttering us up because I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, right? I'm the fish. It was great. I'm really excited about it, but I'm also really hopeful that, because Kurt's the person that's going to have to be dealing with this guy. So the real trick is going to be to make sure that this person and Kurt can work well together. And so I think we had some discussions around that, and I supported Kurt wholeheartedly. If he likes that group, then I'm behind them as well. But I did get sucked into all their PR stuff, their green language. And if I might add really quickly, Kurt, I am so impressed with the depth and breadth of the work that you do. Really, from trees to wastewater treatment. Every time I get involved in a committee and you're involved in it, I'm always impressed as heck about all the stuff that you do. So thank you so much for the work that you do for our city. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm not good with compliments, but I don't get bored, I'll tell you that.
I bet not. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, man, dreams coming true all over town tonight, man.
I think you'll be impressed when you get to meet him. He seems like an educator, and I think he wants this committee involved with what he's doing. And Bob's gonna love him because he talks all about taking carbon out of the forest and how to do better. So.
Hey, could I ask a question about that too? I thought this guy was a contractor. Is he actually going to be employed by the city?
I would consider him more like a professional service.
Oh,
but, he would be the liaison. He would identify areas that where trees could be harvested for labor, and he would mark those trees. But we would actually manage the contract, but he'd be our go-to guy. So I kind of consider him like an engineering consultant. He's kind of a tree consultant. So.
Okay, thanks.
Good. And any other questions or comments on that forestry front? All righty. Kristen and/or Mark, anything commission-wise that's happened or has been brewing environmentally? I know you've been working on bigger stuff with all the ARPA stuff and whatnot, so not that there has to be, but just to check in.
Yeah. So I have a few things I'd like to share, and this isn't necessarily directly from commission, but some of the roles I get to participate. So some of you may know I sit on the Michigan Municipal League Energy and Environmental Commission, and there's something interesting to be just aware of. Recently on Wednesday, today's Monday, last Wednesday. My days are getting around. So the Building Code Commission released a new draft, and Michigan has some pretty lofty goals. So back in September of 2020, Michigan wanted to reduce 52% in greenhouse gases. And the Building Code Commission is looking at how building codes can help save money and CO2. And so there are some updates coming around with that. So just be aware of that maybe. And then some House bills. There's a House bill around unsafe electrical usage in residents that is coming up. It's interesting, and I don't know how I feel about it just because I'm still getting exposed to it. But it's around the illegal use of electricity, stealing electricity in residences for crypto mining, which is really new, and you need a large amount of energy and a large amount of it's just pulling on the grid, and so there's those, and then some illegal marijuana growth in residences, but I don't think either of those things we have here in Battle Creek that pop up where we have, well, not that we don't have people growing in their home, Miss Jillian, but that we don't have it pulling where it's shutting down power grids because it's pulling so much. But there are, I guess, some cities around our state that do have that. So that has been brought forth. And then also, I participate in some webinars and things like that. And the North American NAC, is going to have some climate policy webinars, and there's going to be some really cool ones. So there's going to be North American electricity and energy security, North American methane policy, and green bilateralism. And then US-Canada climate public opinion and urban climate governance. So those are all coming up, and I can share those with you if you guys would like. In regards to ARPA dollars, there are some very interesting ones out there. One of the ones that I thought was really cool, although none of them talked about teaching people how to recycle, the Washington Heights proposal did talk about improving green space, adding walking and trees and other things. And so I thought that was kind of cool. That was one of the ones that had talked about actually adding to the outdoors. So, all right, that's all I have, unless you guys have questions for me to take back. Cool.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, good. Yeah, and anytime you have you know webinars or anything like that you're aware of, just go ahead and send them to the group or send them to me, and I'll send them out. Or and that goes for anybody. A few of you are stumble across those things on a regular basis, just send them. Yeah, Kathy.
I was wondering if Gillian Anderson might provide us with any information regarding the building next door to her. Speaking of environmental considerations.
Well, thank you for asking, Kathy.
Yes, is it coming down or what?
I have, I don't think I really have any insider information that other people don't have access to, except that the wind whipped it yesterday. And so there are some more pieces of the building that were out in the street this morning. So that's a continual issue because part of the west facing facade is not actually brick. It's plastic that looks like brick. So every once in a while, those chunks will come off. But the latest information I have is that as of August, it is supposed to be in the land bank's inventory. And my understanding is that it will be at some point after August up for sale. So there is not, as far as I understand, there's no demolition plans for that building right now. And maybe it will be available for $1 to one of you.
Where's this located, Jill?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Binder building located at, I want to say 34 East Michigan Avenue, across from the parking garage of WKKF. This is the Bryant DeBolt's former property, which now is in legal. I don't know exactly what the legal process is or where they're in it right now, but with the city.
Okay, thanks.
After because he died recently.
It's that old, tall, it's like funky triangle-y shaped thing.
Yeah, sorry, I presumed everyone knew Jill lived downtown, in front of the old triangle building that no longer exists, the slaughterhouse. So I'm just really curious because that building next to her that still remains kind of was sort of part of the slaughter process stuff, wasn't it, Jill?
Yeah, it was the butcher shop.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's any like environmental contaminants or concerns in regards to that too. Thank you.
I have no idea. And I hope there aren't.
All right. Sarah, anything in the county?
All right, so I expect to hear from Eagle anytime now about the scrap tire grants. They apologize that it's taking longer than they wanted it to, but they did have a big turnout for the grant applications. I have my second household hazardous waste contract is going to the Board of Commissioners on March 17th. So the new vendor has already agreed to the terms in the contract. So as soon as that goes to the Board of Commissioners, if they agree to the contract, then after that, like on the 18th and 19th, I'll be able to start working on getting the dates out to the public and letting people kind of plan a bit more for our household hazardous waste collections. But we've had a bit of a difficult time being able to get a vendor that will do 4 collection events for us this year. And our upcoming event on April 14th, we have an appliance and electronics collection that we're planning at Bailey Park. And so we're going to start getting more information out about that around the 24th of this month. But we almost have the event permit ready to go in, and we've met with the city to go over some details. So expect to see more information about that, but that's open up to all county residents. Where we have someone that'll take refrigerant out of appliances. So we're going to take appliances and scrap metal and electronics that day. So it's a limited collection to those materials, just because of we're trying to manage the line and try to keep the traffic at a more manageable level for our events right now. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we are at the Marshall Recycle Center. We expanded the glass that we take at the Marshall Center. So we're now taking all colors of glass, and we're taking candle jars, so they can even have wax in them. They let us do those. And then we can take picture frame glass. We're trying to stay below like the 16 by 20 size, but we can take that. So that's been very popular with the public. And so we've been getting a lot more glass, and it goes to Ohio to be processed. And then it comes by rail car back into Michigan to help an industry that's in our county. So that's kind of a cool little closed loop that we're working on right now. Setting up what they call a hub and spoke recycling system. So we're partnering with a MRF and Coldwater and a nonprofit recycling center in Jackson County for that. And trying to think, and it sounds like I've been working with the senior services program here at Community Development. And so we are waiting for it to come out, but Eagle will be releasing an electronics grant for 2022. And so Calhoun County is exploring applying for a grant that would let us pick up TVs from senior citizens in Calhoun County. So seniors that can't lift and get their TVs out of their home, or a vehicle, that we would contract with a vendor to go to their home and pick up the TVs from them. So that is something that we are looking into adding this year as soon as that grant comes out. But we're starting to work on the legwork to get that in place. But that's pretty much what I'm working on right now. I do have a small group of people for my event on April 14th. I think right now my crew is about 12 people. But we are looking for if anybody else does want to come help with the event. Our biggest concern is appliances right now, just because they are heavy. But we could take a few more people at the event if any of the committee wants to help. The event goes noon to 5:30. You don't have to stay for the entire time. And we may start a little bit early just to try to manage that line too. So Bailey Park, and if you wanted to volunteer, I'd get there before 11:30. So if you want to arrive around 11 and get parked, and volunteers are welcome to bring appliances and electronics to the collection too. And
is that something you could use high school kids for? Just thinking about the Rotaract Club.
It's during the week this year, so it's on a Thursday from noon until 5:30. It gets a little more complicated with high school kids just because we have to coordinate having their parents have to sign the volunteer waiver that they fill out. But if you did have a group that could get the waivers ahead of time and have their parents fill them out, then it wouldn't be as much of a problem as one kid drove there with a carload of kids and then there's no adults to sign for them.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. All right. I think that's everybody in the update category. Do we have any public comment?
I'm not seeing anybody for public comment.
All right, thank you, Chad. All right, then, any other announcements or questions or comments?
I just wanted to clarify. Go ahead, Jill.
Oh, I just had something quick. I talked to, let's see, I don't see his name right here. Stephen Lewis at the Math and Science Center, and asked him about the testing that they're doing for salt in the Battle Creek River. And he said that they were seeing some interesting results. So he was, I was curious about him and his students being able to present to us at some point, or at least send us an email with some, comments, some, show us. And I think Patty's been tied in. Patty or Bessie, I forget, is tied in with that. Patty.
Yep. I have the data from about until about 3 weeks ago. So
okay,
that's something, yeah. But it'd be nice to have him come and talk. I agree. It'd be nice to hear from him.
Yeah. Josh, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. It's just a technicality on the vote that we did for the meeting minutes. Kristen said January, and they're supposed to be February. So just wanted to keep the record straight.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't notice that that's what you said, but I think I said February minutes in all my comments on it. So I think
yeah, I just want to make sure we're good there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. I caught that too when Andy said February. I was like, I said January.
Well, after I voted, I had to go back to YouTube and like scrub back and see if it actually was said that way.
Yeah, I did. I caught myself. So, because I was looking at the month and I was like, oh, it must be. I'm just not ready for. It's okay, but thank you.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine. But yeah, good. Thank you for that. I will say on a membership front, I did hear Kiona Ackley, a member of our committee. She was having some new family experiences going down. I think something of that nature. She was going to be gone. She'll be out for a couple months doing new family stuff. And another person potentially interested in the committee, Victoria Fox. Some of you may have crossed paths with Victoria around town. She does lots of different things that I've crossed paths with her about. But I got an email from her actually today, and I know Jill had said, "Hey, what about Victoria?" Yeah, have her. Victoria. I got an email from her. So I let her know that we were actually meeting today. I'll let her know when we meet and where the application is to apply and all that. So there's some potential interest for another potential new member there. I think that's it from my end, other than, let's see, next month, we've met a few months in a row now, but next month is one of the months we scheduled to have off. So there is no April meeting. So the next meeting is May 2nd. We will keep an eye on, stay tuned, whether we'll be on Zoom or back to trying in person again or whatnot.
The city's requested that if we can stay Zoom, we're supposed to stay Zoom.
Potentially done before the 10th.
Unless we have business to conduct that needs to be done in person. They would
absolutely
like
needs.
the smaller committees to stay on Zoom.
Okay, that's fine with us, fine with me. Okay, anything else for the good of the cause? Jill?
I just have one more question. It feels like there might be spring around the corner, and I'm wondering if there are any planned spring cleanups for trash pickups.
Oh, with the refuse pickup, like our
More
regular,
like
like some.
community volunteer pickups. Is there a day that we have planned?
Yeah, we have April 18th through the 24th, Earth Week. You can pick any day or every day or whatever works. We'll supply the trash bags and some trash grabbers and buckets if needed. We're hoping to have some t-shirts this year as well for that event. And we have some of our staff looking into helping us get some sponsorships for that, so we can really make that a little bit bigger than what it has been. That's the next thing I can think of. Yep.
Okay. I'll get that out to the service clubs.
Okay. I can, I have flyers and stuff
Okay,
for
great.
it too, if that I can send you.
Yeah, do that.
Oh, okay. To the group. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, does the contract with Republic, the curbside contracts still have like the spring and the fall, the big pickups,
Yes.
the everything and the kitchen sink pickups twice a year?
The spring one is, let's see.
It's usually May.
I'm looking, it's May 23rd through the 27th.
Okay. And when do you know offhand when yard waste starts again? Is it first end of the month, beginning of April?
It's April 4th that it starts again.
Cool. All righty, Kathy, did you have a question? Did I see your hand go up there? Same time as Jill's?
Well, of course you did, Andy.
Right.
Even if it was only in your imagination, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to be less than honorable to you. I was just wondering what Bob's got going on over at Pure Cedar Creek, what kind of gigs they might promote to our committee today.
Anything, Bob?
We have a film festival coming up, environmental film festival coming up next month. Catching me on the date here, I will send you information about that. And we have a number of programs coming up over the summer, but unprepared as I am, I will have to send you the dates on those.
Good.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Kathy.
All
Sorry,
right.
Bob,
Anything else?
I didn't mean to put you under the microscope there, Bob, but thank you. Yeah, because I'm so sorry I missed that last film festival you guys had. That was so fabulous. And I was just too lazy to drive out there that night. So I would like to do another one.
Well, by the way, the last one we had, we did do on Zoom as well. So I worked that one that night and they were really good. We purchased the right to several short documentaries and they were, maybe I'm just touting Pierce, but honestly, they were very good documentaries. Very rewarding experience. So Andy, I'll forward you information about anything that would be pertinent to the group. Thanks for asking for it too.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Bob. Anything else? All righty then. Thank you all for your time and commitment to sustainability in Battle Creek and the area. Thank you all for your time. We are adjourned at 4:28.